Hello, folks. Thank you for coming back and listening to my nonsense. It is Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday evening at 10:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the glorious, glorious state of Indiana. I wanted to talk about being, I guess, a young man and getting older, the things we face as men getting older. I'm not really sure why I'm doing this, because apparently 86% of my audience is women. I'm really not sure how that happened. I would like to see the demented people who are listening to me, or at least the ladies that are listening to me, so I could possibly send them in the right direction for mental help. But anyway, let's start this episode, whatever episode it is at this point in time. So I went to high school during, you did too, didn't you? During the years of 88 to 92. What an interesting time that was for music, and really for, I guess, everything. More so music, because that's really all I cared about. Yeah, I'm trying to make a point here. Actually, or just make a thought. So, my freshman year, 1988, things, it always feels normal, as it does for everyone. Your surroundings, music, people, how everyone dresses and things like that. And then you fast forward, 37, 38 years, something like that. And you look back and think, man, what were we thinking? Not really at all. We pretty much were badasses. So anyway, we're in school, and we have our friends, the people we hang out with, obviously. And you never think beyond that. Where am I going to be at in 30 or 40 years? Are these people going to be in my life with me? Are they not? I was playing music then, more so in high school bands, and I met some people, as one does, but I can't. I don't know. It was weird for me, because I'm a weirdo. I had friends that I run around with. One that listens to my podcast, although he did not comment on the last one on Satanism. I must have scared him, even though it was more of an educational, hey, I really didn't know that kind of thing. I'm not a Satanist. Well, I mean, from the hours of 4 p.m. to 4:17 p.m. every day I am. But other than that, I am not. So, anyway, I had him that I run around with. I had a few brothers from a, how can I say that? I run around with this guy, and he had some, I guess it'd be younger brothers, and a my sister. And let's see, really didn't have any girls I run around with because I think I kind of repulse women because of my anxiety. So I had a few girlfriends, not many, and that's okay. And that's why I find this funny that 87% of my listening audience is women. I don't understand if I talk and target women with the things that I say. I don't know. So, I guess I can say these people's names. It's not like it's a HIPAA violation. So, run around with an individual named Darren, James, Tom, Brian, which he was my cousin. The funny thing was he dropped out of school, and I don't know why. He got good grades, but he dropped out of school and then came back every day to hang out with us. I don't understand why he did that. But again, he come back every day, but he'd go out in the parking lot and smoke cigarettes and smoke weed. And in our parking lot at high school, we, of course, had the high school, and then we had a vocational school. And they've changed the name of it like they have with everything else. I don't know what it's called now, but it was a vocational school, which taught you, if you don't know, I'm sure you do, but it taught you a trade, and I was in electronics. I like electronics. I still like electronics. So, I think that was a 2-year program. I'm not sure. So anyway, back to what the hell I was talking about, whatever the hell it was. So, my cousin Brian, Darren, Tom, James, I think there was a couple other ones there. And the people that I'm talking about, I had 2 different sections, or not sections. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say. I had 2 different categories of people that I knew, and the people that I just spoke about. It's like, get to the point, dude. You're stretching this out too long. I get it. Was more people that I did things with that had nothing to do with music. We listened to music, but I had other people that I knew, Tim being one, and he pretty much might have been the only dude. The other guys that were kind of around my age was already out of high school just by a hair. They were always older. So, I lost my train of thought. So anyway, me and the guys would do like what most people would do, but we get in some really mischief type situations. When school was out, Tom would drive out to the country where I lived. He had a beat up old truck. I mean, it was beat to hell. But it ran, and none of us cared, because, especially me, because he got me out of the country. I wasn't old enough to drive, and when I was old enough to drive, it was the late 80s, early 90s, factories were shit, and things were going out, and everybody was going out except me. Factories were going out, things like this, and it was a troubled time. And my point being is that I wouldn't have had a car anyway, even if I could have drove. So, yeah, I got a little staticky there. My apologies. I have this microphone windscreen, and on the top, it has a mute button, and it's all lit up. It's got LEDs on the inside of it, and I'm sure if you've seen other podcasters, it's the same one they have. And I wanted to make sure that I just wasn't talking and nothing was being recorded, so I lifted it up to make sure the light was on. So anyway. So after school, Tom would come out to get me, and we'd probably, more than likely, Tom would get in trouble because he would end up I don't know. Tom would get in trouble. His dad was an ass, kind of just an asshole. Tom always worked after school at a lawnmower shop that his father owned, and Tom was always getting yelled at. Tom really never done anything, and mind you, the guys that I have spoke of up to this point, not Tim, but the guys I spoke of up to this point, we all smoked cigarettes. That was the only thing we done, except Brian. He was, he was like 50 years old in high school. He drank and did a whole bunch of other things. And we wasn't into that, we just smoked cigarettes. Other people drink on the weekend and get hammered and shit-faced. It just wasn't us. I'm not saying that a few of those guys didn't have a beer every once in a while. They did, but they wasn't getting drunk every weekend. So we would, so Tom would come out and get me, and we'd go to Darren's house more so than not. And, he had a job, and he was making, he's making money. That's what you do at jobs. And he had a car, but he had a station wagon. He had a few other cars before that, but he had a station wagon. So we'd go and hook up with him, or actually Tom would probably drop me off, or Darren would have come and got me somewhere in town, because Tom was always in trouble for various things. So I'd hook up with Darren, we'd ride around, listen to Skid Row, Motley Crue, Kiss, Poison, AC/DC, Slaughter, all that stuff. And we'd go pick up my cousin, Brian. If he was available. He was usually, not usually, but sometimes he was always, sometimes, but always, drunk under a dumpster. He would sleep under a dumpster. He had a fucking home, and he slept underneath a dumpster. Not always. Oh, he got in trouble one time. His stepdad always kept his cars absolutely spotless. And Brian got this neighbor girl, and I'm sure you know where I'm going, but he ended up having sex with this girl in the back of his stepdad's car, and we'll say he left it kind of untidy. He left it a bit of a mess. So, that was kind of funny after it filtered through the parents and got back to us, that he got yelled at and stuff. So, we'd all get together and drive around for, a couple hours, smoking cigarettes and just listening to music. And we definitely would get, I can't say we really got into trouble, but we did stuff that really should have got us in a lot of damn trouble. I might have mentioned this in other podcasts, but we went cow tipping one night, and we had spray paint because we were going to write, something on the side of the cow and then tip the damn thing over. So we're out in the country. It's a hot summer night. and just listening to music. Well, and if you folks don't know, in the back of a lot of these older station wagons, I don't even know if they make station wagons anymore, but it had a window that would go down, and all the exhaust fumes would suck into the back window. So we're riding around, the windows are all down, and this dude is on our ass. I mean, he is just, it's a country road, and this guy is riding our ass. And I turned to Darren, because we all had helmets on that night, and I'll get to that story. And I turned to him, and I said, man, what is this dude's problem? Or something like that. And I obviously can't remember what I said. And he's like, well, I don't know, man. It's a party, dude. You know, fuck it. It's a party. So we're going on. This guy's getting mad. He's blowing his horn, and he's cussing at us. Well, little did we know that my cousin, Brian, hung out the back window with a can of spray paint. When this guy got close, he just spray painted his car. Put a big circle on it or whatever he did. And we're still driving, and I told Darren, I said, dude, we got to get the fuck out of here. We got to do something. I don't know why we were running from this guy. It was like 6 of us, and it was him, and I think his girlfriend. And so I was like, I know where we're at. It's these country roads. I know where we're at. I lived out there, you know. So we're giving it hell, man, trying to get away from this dude. And I think we did end up getting past him or losing him or whatever. And we missed a turn. I wasn't paying attention, or Darren, the one that was driving, was not paying attention. I don't really recall. We missed a turn on a gravel road and went right into somebody's yard and damn near plowed right into their damn house. And you know, it was kind of adventurous type things like that we did every night. And I know you was expecting more from that story, but there was no more. Actually, there might have been more, but I might have to circle back around to that. I'm not sure that I quite remember it completely. So we had our football helmets on. There is a place out on, if you're from Connersville, out on 200 East. Well, there's a nursing home out there. And it kind of goes down this hill, and it comes back up, and there's railroad tracks, and then it scoops back down on the other side. Well, being in high school and being absolutely intelligent human beings as we were, one guy stands in the middle of the road, and Darren, who is on the other side with me and all the other guys in the vehicle, well, James or Jim, we actually called him Boner because he just had a big fucking nose. He had just a big ass nose. So Boner was out there in the street or on the highway. It's late at night, nobody's around, but he was out there and he's like, all right, come on, dude, nobody's coming. So Darren give it gas, and he'd go over 44, over 40. That was highway, or 44 actually. We'd go over that, jump those railroad tracks, and we got so damn high in the air we could feel the car floating. And when it hit, the bumper fell off, the headlights blew out of the damn thing. I think we lost hubcaps. I can't remember what else. But when we hit, all of our damn heads hit the roof. That's why we had football helmets on. We knew this was probably going to be a bad idea. So we all personally left an indent on his roof that night. And actually, I think it was a few nights later, just a little bit down that road, Darren was with this girl. Her name was Jenny. And I know that doesn't matter. But he took that turn too quick, and he took out a whole row of fence from a farmer. And I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if he had to pay to have that fixed, or I never knew. There was another night when we went to a place called Offutt's Park. And it's got some swings and stuff. There's really nothing there. It's a secluded kind of place, not off the map, but just a little bit secluded that was in town. And he'd get out there and just give it hell, man. He'd do donuts and just flip them. Wing, 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 one right after another, just whipping that ass end around. Well, we run over we didn't do shit. He ran over, throwing you under the bus there, and no pun intended. He ran over one of these donkeys that's it wasn't alive. It was a donkey that he ran over, and it was on a spring, one of these springs that you get on, rock back and forth that kids do. Well, when he hit it, it happened so quick that it knocked this donkey down, and it come up and hit his gas tank and then went back down because it's on a spring. It's going back and forth, and it just rivets, or so to speak, puts all these holes, look like a gunshot hit it, and gasoline's leaking out. Well, we see all these lights. Well, the cops watched us do it. So, we got pulled over so much, the cops would just walk up and go, Mr. So-and-so, speaking to Darren, and be like, hey, man, how are you? We got to know the cops, unfortunately, from being mischief kids. And once we got done there, we all got out of the car, and they actually made Darren get up against the car and spread his legs, and they patted him down, and one of those things. And everybody's thinking, what the hell does this have to do with growing up and growing old? Well, this is going to be a long podcast. It's going to be broke up in different sections. So, we go home or whatever we do. And now to flip this around to the other side. This was what we did almost every night. We would just do stuff that was just fucked up. We never hurt nobody. Sometimes we hurt ourselves, but not too bad. Oh, and there was I'll tell this story and then I will get on with all of this. And as I said, this is going to be in several different parts. It's going to be long. So one night we're at this girl's house. This girl that wanted to, I guess we'll say, hang out with me. I really don't know what the hell she wanted, but she was always following me around and always knew where I was going to be before I even got there. And it'd be like I wouldn't tell nobody, one of them girls that knows where you're at before you know where the hell you're at. She's sitting down at your mailbox. She's sitting at Village Pantry. I don't know if anyone listening knows what a Village Pantry is, but it was just like a convenience store before convenience stores were convenience stores / gas stations. So, she'd just always be there. And I don't know, we were just going to all hang out. And some of the guys wanted to drink. And she was in college at Ball State University. And she's like, well, I got booze in my dorm. And it's like, well, let's go get this shit. So we go, and this did not go in any direction that I thought it was going to go in. So we go to Muncie, and for those of you that don't know where Muncie is, it's roughly 50 minutes from town, from where we all lived. So we get there. Man, I gotta get a drink for this. This gets sticky. All right. So we get there. And again, I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I smoke cigarettes. And I thought, being a smoker, that I was just this horrible person. But anyway. So we get to Muncie. We get to her dorm. And it's me, Darren, my cousin Brian, and we got Boner. James. Big fucking beak nose Boner. And I'm trying to think if that was correct. Yeah, it was correct. And this girl's name was Jennifer or Jenny. I honestly can't remember. It was one of the two. So we're there and I don't remember. I guess we're looking around. So anyway, Darren, yeah. And you're listening to this right now, Darren, thinking, oh no, I know what's coming. So, I'm already thinking of this story. So this girl's like, these guys can stay here, and me and you need to go to the store. And it's like, well, why, man? I don't want to go to the damn store. We're supposed to get this shit and go back to Connorsville. Well, that wasn't what was on her mind. So we go to the store, and again, I can't remember the very specific details. I mean, keep in mind, this has been 35 years ago. And so we go to the store, and, between point A and B being the store, well, she wants to have sex. So we're going after condoms. And it's like, okay, I guess I'm going to be screwing, I guess. I don't know. Okay, I'm game. Let's do our thing. So we get, and this really isn't the point of it. So we get back. Well, Darren and my cousin Brian, they've already hit the alcohol. They found out where the booze was at. It's like you can't leave high school kids alone on a campus with booze. She should have known better, but shit, she was only like 22, and we were, I don't know, it might have been 1989, 1990, I don't know. I was maybe 16, I don't know. So, anyway, we get back, and we got all these damn condoms shoved in our pockets, and we open up the door, and it was like, oh my God. Darren was already absolutely shit-faced. I mean, he was fucking hammered. And he's laying on the couch, and he is just puking. It's like a fountain, man. He is puking, and it's falling back on him. It's just a river in the couch of vomit. And my cousin is like, where the fuck is he at? Well, we heard a noise, and it's like, well, you brush it off because it's a dorm. I think they were little individual houses because I guess she had money. So it wasn't like, I shouldn't say it was probably a dorm. It was just she had a house on campus, whatever the hell you call it. Because I never went to college. I went to go be a paramedic at an academy, so I don't know how this college shit works. So she's like, where's your cousin? It's like, I don't know, but we probably should have tied the motherfucker up to the bed with a chain or something because he's a little nuts. And she laughed and is like, no, he's a squirrel bag, So we hear the noise again, and it's like, all right, something is going on in here. Well, obviously something's going on here. Darren's like a fountain, and we follow the noise to it wasn't a laundry room. It was just where the washer and dryer was, but it was behind like folding doors, the kind that you grab on with one hand, you grab on with the other hand, and you open up and they kind of fold back. Bifold. I think they're called bifold doors. So anyway, he's sitting in there on top of the washer and dryer with a fifth of Jim Beam. And he's like, "You fuckers get away, this is my booze." And it's like, we don't want it. We don't want the booze, man. We'll probably beat you in the head for a cigarette, but we don't want your booze. And so anyway, Darren is just, I'm just not going to say these people's last name. They know who they are. It's just like, it's just a fountain. And the other guys, they're just kind of, there was only one or two other ones. And it was Boner and, I don't know, it might have been his younger brother, David. And, they're, inside or outside smoking, and they come back in and, so me and this girl go to her bedroom and we're, doing our thing. Well, Darren's beating on the door. And because I'm belching, sorry folks. Because he thinks somebody's getting hurt in this bedroom. And if you knew this girl, you would probably know that it would have been me getting hurt. So he's beating on the door. He's like, "Man, don't hurt my buddy. Don't hurt my buddy," And it's like, well, how in the hell can anybody concentrate with that bullshit going on? So, I don't know. We're only like a half hour into this, and he's banging on the door. It's like, I need more than a half hour. Well, it is what it is. And so we go ahead and open. It's like, we're done with this shit. So we go and open up the door. And it's just like the whole damn place has been flipped upside down. So it's like, we got to get back to Connorsville. So we get Darren to the bathroom. We're trying to clean the dude up, man. We're just trying to clean him up. And me being the guy that's always trying to help and be empathetic to other people and their sicknesses and illnesses and stuff like that. Well, I'm trying to help him get cleaned up, and he's just still puking, but he's puked so much there's nothing coming up now. It's like this guy's puked so damn much, the only thing coming up now is his toenails. He is just retching and nothing's happening. And I'm wiping his face up and I'm trying to clean him up the best I can because he's got to go home, and he lives with his mom. We all live with our parents. And I don't know what I was thinking. I was just trying to be helpful. But I get a hairdryer because he's wet. Because we've got him wet and trying to clean him up. So I get the hairdryer and I'm trying to blow him off, but I wasn't thinking, man. I'm a kid. I was blowing hot air on him, so he's just fucking puking some more. And he was so wasted that he was laughing the whole time he was puking. And so, I don't know, remember much else after that. So we work our way back to Connorsville, and I don't remember, but that was just another thing that had happened. Not necessarily all in that night. This was over a period of a few years in high school, but things were going on weekly. We ended up getting scared to death one night out on Tower Road. And if you people know where Tower Road is, once again, if you're from Connorsville or surrounding areas, you know where Tower Road is. It's got a big ass tower on it. And it's out where my dad lives. I don't know where Tower Road, I don't know what that would be, 650 South maybe, I don't know, doesn't matter. But anyway, not even a quarter of a mile down the road, maybe a quarter mile, it's got a big ass tower. And it's got those kind of, like, I don't know what you call them, those signal, the things that throw the signal out or receive it. And it kind of looks like, they're just weird looking. And they were around many years ago, of course. But even at that time, they like 35, 40 years ago, they were old then. Well, come to find out, I was telling my dad, these were towers that actually sent out microwaves. And I believe this was for World War II, that if communication was lost, that they could use these towers to send out these microwaves and still be able to communicate. And I don't know how any of that works. I honestly just found out about it a month or two ago. And right next to these towers, and they're pretty big towers, not like a cell tower, but, well, I don't know, man, they're up there pretty good. And you're thinking, why didn't you climb it? Well, that's another journey on a water tower. So out here on Tower Road, I know I went through all this explanation for no reason. So we're on Tower Road, and for some reason, before this stuff is even cool, or whatever you call it, this urban exploration, or wherever these people go into these houses and, do what they do. Before any of that shit, because it was pre-internet, not by many years, but, it was definitely before cell phones. But, again, not too far before cell phones. Well, all of us being me, Darren, Tom occasionally, Brian, Boner, I don't know, sometimes Boner's girlfriend would come. And she was the nicest girl. She was just the nicest girl. Very polite girl. But nonetheless, who gives a shit? I don't think she was with us that night, but we go into this house, and it's the kind that you got to walk through like half an acre, maybe an acre, to even get to the damn thing. And there, I look back on this, it's like, there is no way in hell I do this stuff nowadays. But we go into this house, and I mean, it's just an old, dilapidated farmhouse. I assure you, no one lived here. We never did things like that. We never destroyed anything or nothing like that. Except our own property. We did, Darren would destroy some cars. I mean, he would destroy some shit. He went around the corner one time, and I damn near fell out. The door flew open. He grabbed a hold of me, and I don't think it really helped a lot. I don't think I fell out, but he was laughing the whole time. A bastard. So anyway, we go into this house, and I don't know. It's got some, some devil worshiping shit. And if you listen to my podcast on Satanism, this has nothing to do with Satanism. Even though they have upside down crosses, or the pentagrams and all this shit, spray painted on the wall. These are devil worshippers, and that has nothing to do with Satanism. Okay, enough of that. So anyway, we go to this like medicine cabinet and open it, and there was something weird in there. I don't think any of us really knew what it was, but I mean, it's a medicine cabinet, and there was an object that was in there, so it couldn't have been that big. I mean, it's a medicine cabinet. No, there was no medicine in it. I think my cousin probably took it all. So we go into this next room, and they got all this fucking pentagram shit, everywhere. And there's like there's like a goat. There's like a goat that I guess, if I remember correctly, somebody cut its fucking head off. It was, it'd been there a while. Animals were already starting to eat it. And I was like, oh no. No, this is fucked up, I'm scared. I know the other guys are scared. So, we get out of there. And this was before we were like legally able to carry firearms. That came a little bit later, because we were still underage. So, we would just do things like that. And I'll get to some more of that later on. But let's flip this over and go back to Timmy. So there was another section of friends that I had that were musicians, and really I don't know if I classify these people as friends. Really, I know this is going to upset some people, but they're musicians. I don't look at musicians necessarily as friends. I've always looked at music as, this isn't a party. And once again, as I said, I wasn't a drinker. I didn't smoke dope. I didn't do anything. I just wanted to smoke cigarettes. That's what I did. Music was always a business to me. I'm there to make money. And people that are in bands are business associates. They are not my fucking friends. Because I assure you, a musician will stab you in the back quicker than anything. They absolutely will. They will tell you how loyal you are to them and what you mean to them. And as you're walking to the back at a local watering hole to take a piss, the guy that's talking so highly of you is now trying to fuck your girlfriend. And I promise you. So, I can't say these people are my friends. I don't dislike them by any means. But they're, friends are people that are there for you and have your back, and you can talk about things, and they're there for you when a family member dies or whatever. Musicians are fucking musicians. They're self-centered, ego-driven, and I'm not saying I'm exempt from that. At one time, I don't think it was a very long time, but I had an ego, but I tried not to let that get in the way. I was always striving to learn how to read music. I did. I couldn't sight read now. I could pick a drum chart apart and figure it out for the most part. I can't sight read, meaning you can't stick a drum chart in front of me and me read it like a book, and play it as I'm reading it. At one time I could, as long as it wasn't a too complex chart. And I got to where I could write drum charts out, just like with the whole Debbie Gibson thing, the fascination. I don't know if it was a fascination. It might have been infatuation. I think it was a Rod Stewart song. But the bass player, which if you look at my other podcast and even the YouTube channel, Pancake Punch, I got to talk to Kirk. Even though he's a bass player and drummer go together. That's just the way it is. That is the rhythm section. It's not hard to understand. At least, that superficial statement there. That's as deep as it goes for most. These people meant a lot to me. This is why, I wanted to learn how to read drum charts. I wanted to learn more because we didn't have YouTube. You just can't pull this shit up. You have to go take lessons. So Kirk and that drummer, Lou, which he's gone now. He's dead. they made me want to be a better musician. So in many cases, when I'd play these bars and stuff, I always looked at it as being temporary. But also, it takes away from you. If it's like going to somebody's house. If you stay too long, you get comfortable. I stayed too long and got comfortable, and the knowledge that I had in music and things like that, I can't say went to waste, but it could have been applied in many different, more positive, effective, but more positive ways to get a more effective outcome. So, back to the musician thing, even though that's what I've been talking about. So, these were people that I could talk music with. I'm not talking about, hey man, Guns N' Roses come out, or getting ready to come out with a new album. You want to go wait in line to go get it? No, I mean musicians, people that are learning how to play their instrument as well as I was. It's different. Even though Tim gave me passes, because his cousin played with a girl named Terry Clark at the time. He was the fiddle player, and then I believe he went on to play with Mark Chestnut. And there you go. So we got backstage passes to go hang out with them. We hung out on their bus. We hung out over at the monitor guy. And that was the night that I realized that this shit is phony and fake as hell. Not all of it. The guy from not the guy that in Brooks and Dunn that doesn't really do the singing. He's just the guitar player. Well, from the side over to monitor view, or it would be stage left, I'm looking at the dude and he's strumming, man. He's just giving the audience what they want, And you look, the dude is 4 or 5 inches away from his strings. He's not even strumming the damn thing. So that was my first clue that this is kind of all bullshit, which my father always told me it was. It's just a big show. So, there was a few people that I did hang out with. A lot of them, again, were older and out of school, just barely. Jim being one of them. He's now gone at an early age. A lot of people I do know are gone. That's kind of sucks. I think 3 of them was drugs. It is, and they were girls, which really doesn't matter. But anyway, that's for another podcast that I don't know if I'll do or not, but who knows. So I have friends that I laugh and carry on with, and then I have band guys that I can talk band shit with. PAs, line arrays, gear, what strings you use, and more so drum gear, because that's pretty much what I am as a drummer. So we're going through high school, and as you're going through high school, you're learning, you're growing up, and I don't know if people think that it's going to be a certain way when they get out of school. I can't remember, but a lot of times you don't really end up where you think you're going to end up at. And I think this is a very common thing with men and women. You just think your life's going to turn out differently. And a lot of times it does, in good and bad ways. So, we all graduated high school. Yes, I graduated high school and worked in many factories. But I was playing music I don't need to work. I'm making more money playing music. Because me and Tim were talking the other day, and he said, remember I used to say that you wouldn't even work in an air-conditioned pie factory, which is kind of funny. And he still brings up this day about me giving him his pink slip in the bathroom. He doesn't let that go because I fired him from a band. Because again, it's not friendship. It's a business. I'm not saying that we're building an empire, but it's a business. I'm here to make money with you people. I love playing drums, of course, but it's a business. It's not personal. And if you're running a band, you want to get rid of me, well, get rid of me. Don't cry about it and be a puss. So anyway, life goes on, and as I said in other podcasts, that I went to Nashville and done cool things, and people do cool things. It's not just me, people do cool things. And I'm approaching 30, 31, 32. I'm already in the academy. I'm already out of the academy to be an EMT and going back through to be a paramedic. Things are looking good. It's like, hey man, I'm accomplishing things that I never dreamed that I was even smart enough to do, But again, it was my life. I put every minute in to being a paramedic. And I mean every minute. I did not go out on the weekends and see bands. I didn't do shit. I studied my ass off. Everybody was out having a good time. I was trying to get a career, and I did. And now, I'm living the piddly life being broke, and everyone else that was broke as hell when I had money, well, hell, they've got money now, and it's like, hey man, this is great, and it's like, yeah, I was there 25 years ago, not as though I'm that special, but I've had a lot of waves and cycles in my life. So anyway, you're going through life and things are good. You just really don't know what you're going to do because you don't really think about it. You're just working and living. When the job falls through, you just find another one. Or if a band forms or needs you, well, you go play music and quit your job. Life is too short to punch a time clock every day. I understand people have to do it. I get it. I get it 100%. I do. Responsibilities. And I have my own. I certainly have my own. I just chose to take a different life. Or a different style of life. Different pattern. I just went a different way. And I'm pretty happy. Sometimes it would be nice to have, we'll say, a female companion. Honestly, just to be able to watch movies with and do things like that. I've been by myself for so long, I don't know that I want anything else. But enough of that. Who gives a shit? Cry in your beard, asshole, whatever. So life goes on, and you have many ups and downs. You lose people. You gain people in your life. People go through struggles. Everyone goes through struggles. Although a person always thinks theirs is more epic. Theirs is more life-changing. Theirs is more catastrophic. Well, to you it might be. To someone else it might not be anything. Theirs might be a lot worse than yours. So, I get my divorce. Just to be honest about it, she just threw me out, which I think I've discussed that before. Nonetheless, we're taking a journey here, folks. Stick with me. So she throws me out of the house and I lose everything, and you rebuild. You have a different way of thinking. You become more conservative with not political, but I mean with money and how you look at things. You're more withheld. You withhold more. Because you have lost. You've lost items, you've lost people once again. And you get older and you realize that, and I mean older, roughly 45, because I'm 50 now, that things in your life didn't turn out the way you thought. You're waking up, you're starting to hurt. And it works out of you as the day goes on. You start to realize that the people that you care about in your life will be gone one day. You think about, I'm very lucky to still have both of my parents, my mom and dad, alive. My grandparents, of course, are gone. But I had them in my life. And when they pass, Christmas isn't Christmas. Well, just the holidays, more so Christmas. It's not Christmas anymore. I don't care. If Grandma and Grandpa on either side is not there, and my family isn't there, it doesn't matter who else tries to carry the torch. It's done. It's over. Close that chapter and be done with it. I can do that. And maybe it's me hiding my own feelings. But I have no problem with leaving things in the past. Other than things that I have done, I hold regret. A lot of times. I think most men do. Because we're supposed to be the saviors, the providers, the everything. And we always feel like we fall short. So, again, I'm lucky to have my folks in my life. And I don't know about anyone else. This is probably an odd thing, but I tend to distance myself from people that I care about the most because one day they won't be here. And somehow I justify that, me not always being present in their life. Yes, there's texts, there's phone calls always. But sometimes you just, like a person that has cancer or that's terminally ill, they'll distance themselves from loved ones. They'll start fights with loved ones to make them want to distance themselves from you because it's painful. It's painful, and I'm not sure that anyone understands that until they went through it. And I'm not saying I have. I just said my folks were alive. I have my kids in my life. But as I've told my kids that grandparents die and then your mom and dad are next. And when they're gone, well, you're next. You're the next one in line. If nature and humanity and the circle of life goes as it should, you would be next. And then your children, and then their children, And you kind of wake up one day and go, what is any of this about? It feels very lonely when you get trapped inside of your own head. It's like, can I make it without my loved ones in my life? can my loved ones make it without me? Of course. It'll be very hard and it'll be very difficult. But we all have to move forward. We don't have a choice. Being depressed, not having any direction, being broke, or the feeling that you're the only one that gives a shit about yourself. And that's not true. There's other people in my life and in your life that do care about you. But sometimes, again, we get isolated into our own mind and it controls. We allow it to control our feelings. And if it goes on too long, we allow it to control our destiny. And sometimes you can't put your body in reverse and back out of that. Sometimes people get too deep into depression and things like that. So I don't really understand a midlife crisis. Is this something that I've already went through? I feel, I don't know if other men feel this way, but I feel numb to sorrow. People live, people die. I feel numb. I feel numb to it. And maybe that's why I don't really have friends in my life. I don't really have people that I can count on. So I've learned to count on myself as best as I can. As I'm recording this, there's nobody in the living room waiting for me to come out so we can watch a movie. Now being 11:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on August the 22nd, 2023. There's nobody out there waiting on me. And that's okay. But it would be nice to be able to stop a podcast, turn the computer off, and go into the other room and have someone there. But even if they are there, I've learned very seldom can these people be trusted. I've had people steal stuff from me, medications, things that I need. And I brought people into my life because I wanted to help them. I'm just that kind of person. I want to help people because I feel like everybody deserves a chance in life. Not everyone is bad. Yet, I keep my door locked very tightly and only let a very selected few, or very selected, I'm not sure how to say that, a very select few, I should say, into my life. I'm very guarded at this point because pain does hurt, whether it's mental or physical. Pain hurts. I cook for myself, and I do quite well. Give myself a pat on the back. I take care of myself completely. I don't need anyone to pay my bills. I don't need anyone for anything. But it would be nice to have somebody around sometimes that doesn't want anything from me other than me. Because I want nothing else from anyone else other than them. Whether it's family or whether it's that person that is in the living room that can't wait for me to get done just so they can talk to me. And I'm not trying to get all sappy about it, but it's all part of getting older, and you can't stay that kid in high school forever. A lot of times mentally that's where I stay. It's just a better time. I'm having a hard time, and I think a lot of other people are too, that aren't running from it or trying to avoid it, having a hard time adjusting to life as it is right now and as it's going to be in the future. It's not going to be a place that's going to be happy for us Gen Xers. But you know what? We'll adapt and we'll overcome. As a friend of mine said, adapt and overcome. So with that being said, I think I'm done for now. There's more to talk about. I hung a little too long in the high school years and not long enough in the more adult life, but I will continue that later, because I would like to get feedback from men and even women, but women have their own things that they go through. They go through menopause, and men, I don't care if they like it or not, they go through their own shit. Menopause or whatever the hell they call it. So again, folks, if you want to get a hold of me, I'm sure, I don't know what it looks like on your end when you pull these podcasts up. I'm now posting on YouTube as a podcaster, still on my Pancake Punch channel. I don't know what you see on your end. I only see it as a content creator, and I am on, of course, Spotify for podcasters, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and I think that was it. Yeah, YouTube is in there as well. I'm sure there's ways to get a hold of me, but nonetheless, if you want to email me, it is splashtalkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you get a hold of me, it will go to my phone, because I'm pretty fancy like that. I have a phone that alerts me when I have electronic mail that comes through. I'm that damn it, I'm trying to make a joke here. I'm that tech savvy. I get emails on my phone. So you can get a hold of me, as always, for the 4 followers I have, I believe. Nonetheless, thank you so much for listening to me babble. It's not so much me really babbling. It is. But I hope that other people can go, yeah, I kind of feel that way too. Because what I have learned about the internet is that, especially with memes and things like that on Facebook, I'll see them all day long, well, so to speak. And I'll look at them and laugh and go, well, somebody else thinks the same that I do, or the same way that I do. And it could just be something funny. Like when you live with someone that has cats, or I should say 5 cats and a dog, that when you get out of the shower, you have cat hair stuck to your feet. And you get mad about it. Cuss and raise hell for a few minutes. But then again, you see a meme later on that day where somebody else is pissed off about the same thing. So the point being, it's about trying to connect with other people and let them know that we're really not that different in our journey in life, and with the things that we've done, with the things we've accomplished, the things we want to accomplish, the things that we just are flat losers on, that we never did accomplish. But that's okay. I like doing this, and it's probably going to be split up in several parts. But you won't know that because this will probably be the last part, the second or third part, however I'm going to break this up. So again, so much appreciation goes out to the folks that listen. I see that it is, I think 80% women and a small percentage of men, and you would think would be 20%, but no, it was like 16 or something like that. And the age group, I believe it said, was 45 to 55, and then 60 and above. So whoever you are, and I know who some of you are, thank you for being here. And keep coming back, because it gives me a reason to sit in front of a microphone at 11:30 at night. Again, it is splashtalkpodcast@gmail.com. I am Jason Neal. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.